Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am Disco Kitty the Crappy Crafter. Today I got something in the mail and we're gonna play with it. It's a resin cooking machine. I've seen them online a lot. I got this one on Amazon. It was on super duper sale. It's usually like $110 and I picked it up for less than $50 because it was like it had like $10 off and then it was 50% off that and it was yay. So here we are. I have the machine here. I'm excited to use it. I don't think I've seen anybody use one. I might have seen someone use one. I can't remember if one of the guys... Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one of the guys I follow out of the UK somewhere has used one once a couple of years ago. But I'm excited to see how it works. Now, I do understand that it's meant for molds like these, you know. Nothing with a cap, something that's very small. You know, I'm pretty sure it's not going to work with any of these. You know, something that's got a cap on. This would actually act as an insulation against the heat. And, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to try it anyways, but we'll see what happens. Now, I did notice that this doesn't get as hot as I was expecting it to. I was expecting it to go up to 200, 250 degrees, but the maximum temperature is like 168 Fahrenheit. It doesn't even make any sense in Celsius, so I don't know. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. We're going to make some resin stuff. We're going to pop it in here. We're going to let it sit for 2 hours on its own auto mode, which is what they recommend for beginners, which is definitely what I am, because it's going to be my first time using it. So, stay with me, and we'll see how it works. Let's get into it. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is mix up some 2-part epoxy resin. And I've overestimated, so I'm going to have some left over at the end, which is actually going to work out in my favor because then it can act as a control. I'm going to mix it for at least 3 minutes, constantly scraping the sides and bottom. Going to divvy it out into some smaller cups to add glitter and color. And if I'm sounding all sniffly, I've been sick for a few days now. Ironically, when I filmed this was the first day I was sick, and I'm still suffering from it. I filmed it on a Thursday. I'm doing this voiceover on a Monday. Blech. Anyways, adding the glitter, getting it all stirred up. Now, I said I was going to try using these, and it's going to be interesting. This one in particular will be very interesting. This one in particular is very interesting most of the time anyways. I'm not entirely sure why it reacts the way it does, but do some cat butts, and a heart, and a moon, and a flower. It was originally just going to be the cat butts, I think. No, I wanted to make a lot of pieces so I could fill this up good. My leaf is going to be a 2-tone leaf using the leftovers from the first 2 colors. And then everything else will just be straight black. No glitter or anything. Just black. Use the torch. Pop the little bubbles. I know they say don't use a torch because it can burn your molds, but I still use the torch. I still had a lot of resin left over, so I popped out another cat butt mold. Had to rearrange these because one of the molds that I put in was a little bit bigger than could go on top. So this is the first round. Beep, beep, beep. It can go from 0 to 120 minutes, and it can go from 95 to 158. I don't know why I said 168. It's 158. It has a cool at the end, which is awesome, and that's auto mode. It's just gonna go by itself. So this was the first round, and as you can see, Still super soft, super soft. The leaf can technically probably be demolded at this point, but I don't want to give it a try. What I am going to do is I'll take out the black cat butt accidentally, and we can use that as a control for the second round. Now this is what the resin looks like after 2 hours of just sitting in the cup. Blech. Or maybe it was 4 hours. It was 4 hours, because this is after the second round. So you can hear it, it's solid. It's definitely solid. And it wasn't the full second round. It was only like 3/4 of the second round. So, but he's only been through once, and you can see it's still very smooshy and squishy. These have been through 1 3/4 times, and they're still pretty squishy. However, they're also still very warm, and when resin is still warm, it's still very squishy. But at this point, I can in fact take them out. These, at this point, have the consistency of a fresh gummy bear. It's squishy and it's smushy, but it will go back to its shape. All it has to do is sit for a while, cool, and it will solidify on its own. But this, like I say at the end, I'm pretty sure that this is an 8-hour demolding resin and a 24-hour cure. So it's really not saving me. I mean, it is. It's saving me a lot of time. It is. But I don't know. I don't know if it's really worth it. I mean, it is. It is. It works. It does work. And I'll definitely use it. And I'll explain that at the end too, how I'll use it. Those felt so very, very, very soft. The molds themselves were very hot, so that made me happy and hopeful. And it cured. 1 3/4 rounds cured the resin. It is technically solid, but it looks like it almost boiled. You can see there. All right, look at it close. Do you see how it looks all lacy and bubbly like it boiled? It's just weird. That's the only thing that I can figure. But I'm not really sure. I don't know what happened there. It's just weird. What do you think happened there? Tell me in the comments below. What do you think I did wrong with that specifically? The pink one looked like it would have worked, except it ended up with a couple of air bubbles, which will break it. And that's okay. I mean, air bubbles are a thing that happens to me all the time anyways, so I'm not surprised. But that laciness that it got over there, and the way that it all seemed to come out of the reservoir that it was supposed to be in is just weird. Now the cat butt, I can take the cat butt out of its mold as well, even though it only went through once. It has been sitting and curing on the side anyways. And here, these balls felt so very, very soft. Very similarly to a UV resin ball that has not been cured all the way through, which I have done a lot. It just felt so squishy. It totally solidified, however. I cannot cut it in half. I will take that blade and I will go all the way around the ball, and I cannot cut it in half, which is great. That means it worked. Right? So the product works. It does. Which is good. So, yeah, if you're thinking about it, get it on sale. Totally worth it on sale. Well, that actually went about what I expected. I don't know what I expected, honestly. So, I put them you know, I mixed them up. Technically, I think this resin is an 8-hour demold, 24-hour cure. It never seems to work out that way anyways, because I usually demold after 24 hours and it's still usually a little bit soft, but that's probably because I use little tiny bits at a time, and the less resin you use, the longer it takes to set. And if you use too little, the chemical reaction just isn't there and it will not cure. Anyways, so this one I put through only once, and as you can see, it's still really soft and stuff, but it will be cured by morning. It'll finish curing by morning, but at that point, what's the point? So these went through 1 3/4 time. I didn't put it through the full 2 hours on the second one. I only put it through for an hour and a half on auto mode, so it was ramping up the temperature as it went along. But these are solid. These are solid, and so are these. Made with the same batch. Well, they're a little bit softer. Well, what am I saying? It's all the same batch of resin, just different colorants. I couldn't cut the ball open, which means that theoretically it's solid inside, so it did cure all the way through. When I had first picked these up, and I can't feel it now, but when I was taking them out of the mold, the reason why I was being super gentle is because they felt really, really soft. One thing, though, that I've noticed is that the divot is huge. I thought I had filled them up to the top, and I know that it shrinks a little bit, but I didn't think it shrank that much. But it could have. Who knows? That could just be an artifact of the resin. But yeah, I mean, this one's still a little soft, but this is not soft, and this is not soft, and like I said, this one only went through once, so it's still very, very soft. Those glasses did not work at all. Neither one of them worked. I think the problem, I don't know what the problem was. Maybe it boiled. I can't imagine that. But there was that weird, like, almost like lacy, bubbly netting in the orange one. That was just really, really weird. And maybe I'll have to do more experiments with that. But overall, did it work? Yes. With 2 rounds, which is 4 hours, which makes it theoretically half the cure time of the resin that I was using, not 1/6 the cure time as it would be if it were a 24-hour resin. But I don't know. Is it worth it? At the $50 that I paid for it, probably. At the $110, $115 it usually is, I don't know. But we'll see. I mean, I got the one that had the really good reviews. It was the one that was recommended. It had the most reviews. It looked like it did. It looked like the best. It's hard saying on Amazon though, you know? So take this all with a grain of salt, because I don't know what I'm doing, but it seemed to work. Will I use it again? Yes, of course. Will I use it for its intended purpose? No, probably not. Probably what I will do is, because these are so very tiny, very, very tiny, they often don't cure properly, even given the right amount of time. I often let these sit for at least 20 hours in the mold, sometimes 24 hours, and then I bake them at 200 for at least 30 to 60 minutes afterwards, and then they're nice and hard. But before that, they're all kind of squishy and floppy, you know, kind of like this guy here. He's squishy and floppy. So I will probably use that to just finish curing these when they come out of the mold, but we'll see what happens. I'm not sure. So I am just rambling and nattering at this point, so I'm just gonna let you go your way, and I will say until next week, stay safe. This is baby Abby Cat. Say hello to baby Abby Cat. Oh, sorry. Wrong shoulder. Oh, look at that beautiful face. She's a good girl.